JTQWN. I've never heard of this guy before. I never casted any of his matches, so it could be him, maybe.
I think that JTQWN is Chinese, maybe. And I think that they use Google Translate to send messages. It calls me Penguin God. Penguin God. Penguin God.
Oh, it's JTalk, the guy who has like 12 accounts that play against each other. How do you do it?
It's the JTQN, like that crazy guy with multiple personality disorder. If you know him, you know him. He's super good. He talks about himself in third person. He has 1 million alt accounts. He just kind of stomped me, and I never really got to enjoy this map. But
this is JTQWN here. You probably can't see because I'm in the back of a car. Just with the crew here after a game of Age of Steam. I always win that game. We're just going for our midnight run here from McDonald's.
Objection, Your Honor, speculative.
Fuck you, Tom. Let's go.
Choo choo.
Choo choo.
Here we go. Baby Tara's a bitch. Fuck. Baby Tara's a bitch.
Build to stealth. So I typically go against stealths for a few reasons. Stealths are really weak. They're really expensive and they're really weak. Like, they do half the damage of a bomber. And then you build a fighter and it's dead. Half the damage of a bomber. And then you build a fighter and it's dead.
Damn, Deegis. Looks like someone got downed.
Advanced Wars community. You're probably wondering why JTQWN has had a YouTube channel for many months now, but is only now first time making a YouTube video. JTQWN will definitely answer that question in this video.
JTQWN will now do a replay analysis. Let's see, who should we review? Oh, this guy. Number 1 on the leaderboard for now. Yes, very impressive. How about this one?
I sing for you.
That's it. I should just retire. I clearly cannot top this level of commentary.
Oops. Oops.
Throw some shit into the sandbox and call it a dammer. Call it a dammer. Throwing some shit into the sandbox creates our dammer, the baby dammer. Oh my god.
What you just watched was the very first video belonging to a guy simply known as JTQWN. And I guess in this video, I finally decided to go down the JTQWN rabbit hole. In case you don't know, JTQWN is a player in the Advanced Wars by Web community who's a bit eccentric, let's just say. He has his main account, and as you can see, it's very highly rated. Almost 1600. But he also has a bunch of alt accounts. He has the Hand of JTQWN, which is only Rachel and Cole. He only plays Rachel and Cole on this. He has the Eyes of JTQWN, which is only Sonya and Andy. He also has the Mouth of JTQWN, which is only Grim, Lash, and Eagle, I believe. So, depending on which one of these alt accounts you face on the ladder, you're going to get a very different match. Now, here's the thing. There's also a lot of copycats, by the way. I have no idea. I don't think many of these are legit. But there are a lot of weird JTQWN accounts. Again, this is a rabbit hole right here. This is a rabbit hole. Now, here's the thing. I recently learned that you can issue a challenge to JTQWN. He may not accept. You need to have some merit. He won't just accept challenges from just about anyone. But if you challenge him, he will set you up with a very weird match. Now, if you manage to beat his first form, which I believe is the hand with JTQWN, I think then you go on to face the eyes, and then you go on to face the mouth, and then JTQWN himself. Now, if you manage to defeat all JTQWNs, which recently was done by a player named Laurencia, 1997, he was the first person to ever beat all of the JTQWNs, then you get a number of, like, you can do a number of things. You can either challenge all JTQWNs at once to like a 4 versus 1, and if you beat him, he will delete all of his accounts. However, you can also request that he makes a YouTube video, and I think that's what Lawrence did, which is what we just watched. We watched JTQWN's first YouTube video. So I was like, okay, that sounds like content. So I was like, all right, I'm going to challenge JTQWN. I sent him a message and I'm like, I am throwing down the gauntlet. I am issuing a challenge. Now, if you fail to beat him, you have to wait 6 months to challenge him again. Those are the rules. So I laid down the gauntlet. I said, I issue a challenge, and JTQWN, he said, I accept Egg God's challenge. He always gives nicknames to everyone. He calls Go7 Penguin God. He calls me Egg God. So I was like, okay, what will the challenge be? And JTQWN told me, Caustic Finale, but with fog. Caustic Finale is not a fog map, by the way. It's a standard map. And it's going to be a live match as well. So it was a live Caustic Finale match with fog. And now I was allowed to pick a tier 2 CO against Hand of JTQWN, which meant that I was either going to be facing Cole or Rachel, which I figured he'd pick Rachel. I was not allowed to pick global damage COs, however. So I was not allowed to pick global damage COs or Kindle. So I looked at the matchup. I knew I was going to be facing Rachel, since this is the Hand of JTQWN. He only plays Rachel and Cole on this, and I knew he wasn't going to go with Cole. So I was like, okay, I could pick Max, I guess. I'm not allowed to pick Sammy or Olaf, since it's Caustic Finale. So pretty much I had the choice between Max, Eagle, or a tier 3 CO. And Eagle not very good at Caustic Finale, and Max in Fog with all this Woods artillery is going to be crazy here. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So I picked Andy, because Andy kind of counters Rachel a little bit in Fog, or so I've been told. So I was hoping that, you know, maybe I'd be able to do something here. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is my match against the craziest Advanced Wars player, JTQWN. A live Caustic Finale Fog match, Andy versus Rachel. Will I be able to do something? Let's find out. Let's start the match. So, JTQWN is in the blue here as Rachel. I'm in the red trunks as Andy. Caustic Finale, it is my favorite map of all time, though I've never played it like this. Playing a standard map in the fog is incredibly wacky because, again, there are a lot of forest tiles on Caustic Finale. It's not designed around fog. Forests are designed to slow down vehicles, not to give cover. So when you play a fog match on Caustic Finale, I will admit I did train for this. I played a practice match against Poland, preparing myself for this challenge. I don't know if JTQWN trained at all. But one thing that we very quickly found out was, oh my goodness, artillery are bonkers on Caustic Finale in fog. Because look at all the forests. You can put artillery down here in base lock. So I knew that I couldn't pick Max because, you know, again, artillery are going to be absolutely crazy on this. So I was like, okay, Andy, probably the choice here. So we're going to see a lot of artillery coming out. I actually decided to open up Recon because you actually do need to scout on Caustic. Recons are actually going to be very integral here because you need vision for artillery to be good. Now, there's some mountain tiles you can put infantry units into here. But you also do need those recons. So yeah, JTQWN already opening up an artillery right here. I am moving out with a recon of my own, and I build my first artillery right here. So already my plan is to put this artillery here and base lock JTQWN, because that's exactly what Poland did to me in our training match. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try and see if I can make something happen here. So JTQWN now moves out with his infantry, captures the city right here, and again, I'm hoping that he won't scalp my artillery. He has an artillery of his own down here in the south, and he's moving the artillery over here to the right, hoping to lock down these cities. This is something you want to do in regular Caustic Finale as well, but in Fog, artillery just becomes gods. So again, just gonna see a lot of artillery right here. So here, I'm moving out with the infantry to scout what's ahead. Again, but the forest tiles just means that so many of the units are obfuscated. You can really be stealthy here. Look at this. I'm moving in my recon, and JTQWN has no idea. And here, I'm placing up kind of like an artillery trap here in the woods. Of course, JTQWN does have an infantry right here, so he can move into the mountain to scout the recon. And I build a tank to hammer it home. So I'm going to focus heavily on trying to lock down this base. That was my game plan going into this. Of course, JTQWN now spots it. He sees the artillery. He interrupts my capture over here and moves his artillery into the woods. Finishes capping a bunch of properties. Again, there, you can just see this match is absolutely wild. He takes a shot at my artillery, bringing it down to 9 HP, builds a tank of his own. And right now, I do see that he's building an artillery and a tank, and I can see that there's a lot of units. There's a lot of units defending this base. So I'm like, should I continue up with the attack, or what should I do? Start capping the comm tower. And again, I don't know that there's an infantry right here. I mean, this is just wild. But I decide to take out the infantry. I move in my recon and I attack here. Because again, I have an artillery here, so he really doesn't want to attack me right now. And at this point, I don't know if I saw the artillery. No, I don't know that there's an artillery here. But I build a second artillery and a third artillery. Again, just artillery everywhere right here. Now JTQWN takes a shot with his artillery, so I know that, okay, all right. He's got an artillery in the south. I know that it is pretty hopeless for me to continue fighting here. He continues capping the harbor. Battleships can actually be built on Caustic Finale. They're actually not terrible. If you're getting base rushed, they can actually really save your life. So as day 8 rolls in right here, you can see that there's a big fight in the top right, gearing up right here. I finish my comm tower. I decide to just shoot his infantry to slow his capture phase, and then I take out this infantry here in the mountains and move this infantry over here. So, and now I decide to move my artillery up here to try and lock down these spaces right here, or these cities, so I can take them out. And I'm feeling pretty good about my artillery right here. It's going to be pretty hard for JTQWN to fight through this. Because again, he needs one unit to scout the forest and then another unit to actually punch through. So I just continue building tank artillery. So JTQWN scouts the tank, but he has an artillery of his own. So again, just absolutely wacky matchup right here. Moves in a tank as well. So now he's going hard. He's defending. So honestly, at this point, it might be in my best interest to just pull back. But at this point, I'm so invested in the attack, and it's not like you can really front switch artillery that much. So, but yeah, he's coming in hard on this side, and artillery as well coming in on this side. So again, this as you can see, it's a complicated matchup right here. Very complicated matchup. So here, I just take shots with my artillery, move in with the infantry, and gear up with another. So I got 3 artillery right here. And I continue to take engagements inside his artillery, which is may not great, but he has to do the same with me. So I'm confident that I can trade favorable in this situation with all the artillery that I have here. So I'm okay to have the fight go on a little longer. There's some infantry skirmishes happening over here. And now I'm gearing to take these 2 cities as well, which will give me a nice little income lead. I built a recon because, again, my plan with this recon is actually to send it down south and take the comm tower, because if I can kill the infantry and place the recon here, I will pretty much get the comm tower. So, But JTQWN now decides to actually go for my artillery, so he's being pretty aggressive here, but I have another artillery right here, so I'm still pretty confident, but he's doing a good job defending right now. And now he's taking over a bunch of the cities down here. JTQWN kills my infantry and moves an artillery of his own over here, so that pretty much zones out my artillery. And he builds 2 more tanks. So going very hard up in the north right here. Day 10 rolls in, and I see that, oh, this is going to be pretty tough. Now, I do get this city, which I like. I get a nice little shot with my artillery, comes in with my tanks. So, again, I feel like I'm trading pretty favorably over here. As you can see, I'm taking down a lot of his vehicles, so I'm pretty happy about this. Now, here I build a medium tank on the left-hand side, and you may be wondering, why am I doing this? So, the idea behind this medium tank is to divert the missiles. It may have made more sense for me to build a medium tank there, but I was worried that he was going to pop his missiles and bring it, and like all 3 missiles was going to hit this area. Now I do have hyper upgrade, but that's still a lot of damage, and he risks killing the medium tank as well. So in hindsight though, I think building the medium tank here was a little bit too much of a passive move. Yes, it can bait missiles, but I am Andy. It's not like it's going to be that difficult for me. I think it probably would have made more sense to build a medium tank here, but I decided to build it here anyway. You can see right here, I'm kind of gearing for the missiles. I'm kind of expecting that JTQWN is going to pop the missiles next turn. You can see I'm already placing my infantry in range, hoping that he will. Because if he does, I'll just repair it up and I'll be fine, right? But JTQWN has other plans, so he just takes some shots, moves in with this tank, and I see that, oh, he's probably not going to get the missiles this turn, so that's a bit unfortunate. I thought maybe he would. But he's now pushing hard on the south side right now, so I'm about to get base locked if I'm not careful. He builds another artillery as well, so this is about to get pretty nasty here, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm setting up an artillery right here. I'm moving in with the medium tank. And again, you can see I'm expecting the missiles to come down. And this is what I was talking about with the recon. Now I actually have his comm tower. I can place the recon here, infantry here, and boom, that tower is going to be mine. And here I am pulling my artillery back a little bit. I don't know why I did this. I mean, probably to safeguard here, but I should have been more careful. I know he has 3 tanks in the area, so I'm being a little bit reckless here. And I built a second medium tank. At this point, I'm expecting him to charge here with a missile barrage. Like, I'm expecting him to pop his power and then swarm me. So I wanted to make sure that the missiles would hit here. So I built a second medium tank. In hindsight, though, this was a very passive move. These 2 medium tanks are going to take forever to get to the front lines. So I don't know if I like it. I think I was a little too scared of the missiles, considering I am playing Andy. But now JTQWN is noticing that, yeah, his comm tower is actually about to fall. So, but here he is sensing weakness, and he's going in hard. He's not killing the 9 HP artillery, but it's probably going to fall next turn. You can see I have no tanks in the area right now because I built both of my medium tanks over here. So, yeah, I am, like, it is quote-unquote to bait the missiles, but at the same time, JTQWN is probably the kind of player that will just sit on the missiles until they are valuable. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is not great. So I go for the comm tower, and I will get the comm tower. Like, he can kill the recon, but he can't interrupt this. So at this point, I am a little bit sad because I realized that I'm bringing in the medium tanks here, and they will become good eventually, but like they'll take like 4 turns to actually reach the front lines. And as a result, again, it's just a very passive play. I really should have built them here. I don't know why I didn't. Again, I was scared of the missiles, but I really didn't need to be. So I built a second medium tank down here, or third medium tank right here, but there's an artillery coming into my base. I don't really know how useful that's going to be. Again, my game plan here is that by using high-tech units, I can benefit more from my hyper repair, but yeah, JTQWN is now mopping up all the missiles, or all the artillery in the area. And he's not popping his missiles. I was like, surely he will pop his missiles now, but I think he's sensing that I'm baiting the missiles over here. So he's just sitting on the missiles, and this is one of the most annoying things about Rachel players, is that they can do this. They can just sit on their missiles and force you to play awkwardly. So I'm like, oh wow, I am actually losing pretty hard on the right-hand side right now. So I actually decided to pop my hyper upgrade. This is kind of a desperation hyper upgrade. But I'm like, okay, I need the firepower and the movement. So I cap the com tower, which gives me 20% firepower bonus. So that is one thing I got going for me. I also attack the infantry with the recon to delay the capping of the com tower. And one of the reasons I actually popped my hyper upgrade is because I really needed the movement, as you can see right here. It allows me to get a lot of really good shots. I probably should have interrupted this cap in hindsight, but the extra movement and extra firepower combined with 2 com towers does allow me to pull off some pretty nice moves, as you can see right here. So it allows me to shift my medium tanks, and I got 3 medium tanks in the center right here, but of course this means that I am pretty vulnerable to missiles. So day 14 rolls in. JTQWN, being very patient, gets 2 captures, so he's now got a huge income advantage, and he moves his units away because he knows the missiles will hit down here, and then he shoots the missiles. 1 missile, 2 missiles, 3 missiles. Actually hitting the left-hand side of my army and not so many of the medium tanks, but I just used my repairs, which means that I'm not able to quite mitigate this damage. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, that's actually really bad. And he's actually able to interrupt almost every single one of my caps. Actually, he is able to interrupt every single one of my caps, so. And furthermore, because he's Rachel, he's able to repair this infantry up to 10 HP next turn and cap my com tower in 2 turns. I was kind of hoping, when I saw that I did 3 damage, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get it to 9, or he's only gonna be able to repair it to 9, which will mean he'll take 3 turns to get the com tower back instead of 2. But then I was like, oh, he's Rachel. He gets the 1 extra repairs. So, and now he does the smart thing, which is when you're ahead in income, you just tech up. So he techs up to a medium neo tank, and what the hell am I gonna do against his neo tanks? So, yeah, this is things are looking pretty nasty right here. He's got the artillery base lock, and you can just see how strong. You can see how strong artillery are on Caustic Finale when it's fog, because you can place them in here and just base lock the enemy. Again, you're not really supposed to be playing standard maps with fog, but again, this is the premise of JTQWN's challenge, is that he does something weird and wacky and unorthodox that you won't expect. So, but yeah, here I am trying to cluster up my units, hoping that maybe I can just survive long enough to get a second hyper upgrade. JTQWN now kills my com tower, starts capping it. He's going to get it back next turn, so I only have 1 more turn of extra firepower, and he's wisely playing very passively until he can get his com tower back, which is smart. My artillery goes down, and yeah, he's just playing this very, very smartly. He builds a black boat on the harbor to prevent this. I saw this and I was like, ah! God damn it, JTQWN. I saw that he didn't have the money for a battleship, and I was like, surely he's not going to build a lander or a sub or anything like that. But of course, he builds the black boat to deny me taking the harbor back, which is so smart. It's so smart. It's definitely worth it, I think, because again, he's ahead in income. He can afford to do this, and this means that I just won't ever get that harbor back. He builds more artillery, and yeah, at this point, I know that it's pretty much lost. I decide to just attack his black boat a little bit with my medium tanks just to see what I can do. You know, I'm like, okay, maybe I can make something happen. I build 2 artillery. But JTQWN very smartly, he knows there's a big cluster of units here, so he's just moving away and going for the vulnerable properties, using his neo tank to spearhead the charge. He has so many artillery. This is absolutely crazy. And now he's also threatening my base again with an artillery base lock. So at this point, I know he builds a second I think he's BMing me at this point, guys. And now he's actually threatening my com tower. Day 16 rolls in, and I finally move my artillery in range to try and get the black boat. But I'm like, okay, this is not gonna go so well for me. But again, I'm still holding out hope that maybe I can get back in this with a hyper upgrade. And again, I am capping this city, which would give me some income. At this point, I'm not really aware of how far behind I am in terms of income, because again, we're playing fog. But I do know that things are going pretty badly, as you can see. I'm getting so pressured on the south side base right here. JTQWN has a lot of vehicles down here, and he's also threatening my com tower right now. And again, just look at this ball of units right here, combined with the neo tank. I do have a hyper upgrade ready, and I do believe I intend to pop it again before the missiles to try and get some push going. And is he going to build yet another black boat? I think, nope, he's not building another black boat, but I don't have infantry to capture the harbor, so he doesn't really need to do that. But here, I go in with my medium tank. I go for a bunch of engagements, And this is the push I was hoping for right here. This is actually a pretty good hyper upgrade. If you look at it right now, I go from 72,000 up to 92,000. So it's a pretty good hyper upgrade. And here I get myself trapped. Yep, just things you do in live games, ladies and gentlemen. Just things you do in live games. And I build missiles because I know I have lost. And I resign. So that was my challenge against the craziest Advance Wars player, JTQWN. I will throw a link to his YouTube channel in the video description. I don't think he will upload a lot. I think he only does when people make, like, when they're actually able to beat him. I will try to challenge JTQWN again in 6 months, and we'll see if it goes better for me. Either way, I thought it was some fun content, so yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.